It's courtroom chaos that you've got to see and hear to believe.
Do not grab me! Do not grab me! What are you doing? What are you doing?
An Oklahoma attorney is taken to the ground by officers during a hearing after the irritated judge held him in contempt of court. So what did he do that was so shocking?
It's about time you guys hear my side.
We're on the case presented by Law&Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Well, hey guys, real quick, I do want to tell you about this app. It's called Upside. It gets you cash back on everyday purchases like gas, groceries, and takeout. So here's what you do. Super easy. Download Upside. It's free. Claim an offer at one of their 100,000 plus locations. Then you pay like you typically would with your card. Verify the purchase, and you get money back. I've used it when I pump gas, or maybe I'm doing takeout one night, just searching for offers on Upside. Then after I spend, money appears in my app, then I just transfer it straight to my bank. That's it. Upside's frequent users earn an average of $254 back a year. So to start getting your cash back, click the link in the description or scan the QR code and use promo code OTC to get an extra 25-cent bonus on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Wow, let's get into this one. An Oklahoma lawyer is in deep trouble after, you could call it a snarky standoff with a judge in a custody case landed him in jail.
Put your hands back.
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me.
Rob B. Hopkins ran Hopkins Law and Associates in Oklahoma City for 13 years. He's represented clients all over the state in cases involving immigration law, family law, and civil rights. But now he finds himself on the other side of the law. So let's break this down. It all started February 5th. 2026 in Patontock County District Court. Hopkins was representing the mother of a child in a custody dispute. Now, Hopkins tried to argue that there were jurisdictional issues because his client had never lived in Patontock County. Things were tense from almost the very start.
Looks like there's a full courtroom, so if I could get back to my argument, I'd appreciate it.
So the judge did not like the fact that Hopkins' client was not there in person and announces that she's learned there is a warrant out for her arrest on a separate issue. Hopkins claims that he had been previously told that it was acceptable to attend the hearing virtually, but when he called to confirm that morning, they told him that he needed to get to the courthouse ASAP instead. Hopkins made it, his client did not. Now, as Hopkins tried to make his jurisdictional argument, he ended up in squabbles with both the judge and opposing counsel.
Okay, you pull out that pleading and you tell me what paragraph to go to. And again,
Right here, affidavit of Julianne Kramer that was attached in support of special appearance and motion to dismiss. The education, the child has
Tell me
attended
which
school, paragraph A, B, C, D, and E.
of what?
Of
number?
her affidavit of Julianne Kramer,
Of
paragraph
what
number
number?
3, trial's residence. Since birth, that's OQW, has resided continuously and exclusively with
Judge,
me
objection.
in
May I
Oklahoma
state my
County.
grounds?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
This is hearsay.
It's her affidavit,
Which
filed as
is,
part of this court.
Hush. Let him.
He's interrupted over and over,
Hush.
but you've not admonished him once.
Hush. Let him at least finish his thought.
I've not been able to finish one thought.
Hush. Finish your thought, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I appreciate that the affidavit is attached to pleading, but it remains hearsay nonetheless. I object on the basis that I can't cross-examine this. Well, it's not a witness, it's an empty chair.
I've pled, I don't know how long Mr. Palmer's practiced, I'm not familiar with him, but I'm sure longer than I have. And he's in a jurisdictional argument without a client present once or twice, I'm pretty sure.
Sir, you have no idea
No,
how
sir, I do
inexperienced
not.
I am.
Gentlemen, let me tell you my opinion. I am frustrated that your
I am too.
client is not here.
I am too.
Do not interrupt the court again.
Yes, ma'am.
I am frustrated that your client is not here. I am frustrated to know that there's an outstanding warrant for her, which might have something to do with her not being here. I don't know.
I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again. Do not throw your...
I did not throw, it fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses.
I do.
here to
I put it
defend
down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
you. Then settle down.
I'm not
Please.
upset and I'm not arguing.
You're
You're not
red
letting
in
me
the
make an
face.
argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
Stop. Our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying.
This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant or stealing her
Objection,
children from another
hearsay. That's
court.
not true. And you're red
You
in the
will
face.
find, sir,
Don't
that you
put
cannot
at me and
stolen me.
or shout at me.
I'm not putting it on there.
No, we're stopping.
Now, at this point, Hopkins accuses the judge of targeting him because he's a transgender man. And from there, things went downhill really quickly.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Put your hands behind your back.
Do not. Are you throwing me over the...
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay, put your hands behind your back, stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way so we can...
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
Just stop, settle down, walk that way.
No.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You just take me. You just take me. Don't get me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind
I
your back.
cannot breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't move.
Body cam footage from additional officers shows them hurrying to respond to the courtroom.
Get his other arm secured. I've got his legs. Put your hand.
Somebody call 911. Somebody call 911. Somebody call.
Let go of your phone now.
No. No.
Alright, we're gonna pick you up. Roll on your
No.
side.
No, I don't. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer now.
Get up.
Get a female officer now.
Alright, Sandy. Get up.
I can't get up. I can't see. He just threw my glasses. I can't see. Give me my glasses. Put them on my face.
No.
Put them on my face. I cannot see.
Get up. Go.
Please give me my glasses. I cannot
on.
see. I'm trying to walk and I cannot see.
We'll walk you.
I need my wallet.
We will grab all your stuff. Come on.
I'm trying to walk. You're pulling me.
Walk.
Give me a chance. Give me a chance to walk.
Let's walk.
Thank you. I need him off me. I'll go with you. Get him off me.
Officer needed unknown or something.
Tell them we're 91. 16 Central. We're 91. We're in custody. I lost my body cam.
Unit, can you please repeat your badge number?
What's his name?
16 Central.
Him right there.
We're 91 with one in custody.
What's his last name? What's his last name? What's his last name? I don't need a folks on the street. What's his last name? I got this here. What's his last name?
What happened? They asked for assistance up there, so we went up there together. The judge said take him to jail for contempt of court. And then the fight was on.
Can you please get this off so I can hear?
He's just trying to fix my body cam. What's his malfunction? Contempt. Arguing with Judge Jackson. She comes storming in the room. She said, go get him, take him to Justice Center.
Hopkins was booked into jail and held on $25,000 bond. Days after the courtroom chaos, Hopkins announced that his practice would be closing up shop. He also addressed the situation in a Facebook video.
My story is not like all of y'all's. It's a little bit different in the fact that I was born a woman, and that makes everyone mad a little bit. But it seems to be that certain members of very important higher-ups, if you will, have made it the brunt of a lot of things. And I have not been able to say a word about anything, but at this point, I don't think that anyone will ever hear the truth. And I'll never forget the day that I had one of my most terrible days in court. I was late for my last hearing, and the judge goes, well, what's going on? Where were you at? And I was like, my name's Rob Hopkins. And she says, I don't know what that means, but we'll take it from here. And what it's meant is I can't go under the radar. I'm not a wallflower. If anybody knows me, they know I'm loud, I'm proud, and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. But I'm always going to be kind. I'm always going to be respectful. And so the allegations against me that you might hear that I've been disrespectful to any member in a black robe, they're just absolutely false. They're absolutely false. There have been times where I've been overzealous, but always in the best interest of my client. But it's come to the point where even when I am falling on the sword, even when I am going the extra mile to get something done, there still becomes a moving of the goalpost. It's just, nope, we're not going to do it because that's the way you want to do it. And those are the microaggressions that cause the turmoil, the adversarial negative reputations and connotations for people with Esquire behind their name.
But Hopkins' problems didn't end with the contempt charge. A search of Oklahoma court records shows that he not only faces a criminal charge, but the Oklahoma Bar Association is trying to take away his law license. On February 20th, Hopkins was charged with resisting an officer. According to notes in a court filing, he will be released on his own recognizance. Quote, once 10 days are served for contempt citation in civil case. He's next due in court for the criminal case on April 14th. Now, when it comes to his law license, we learned a lot more about some of Hopkins' other alleged bad behavior in court. A quote, verified complaint and application for emergency interim suspension was filed just days ago on March 27th. The Bar Association claims that Hopkins broke several rules related to professionalism. Quote, count one, addressed the incident on February 2nd that resulted in that resisting charge, according to the court paperwork. On February 23rd, 2026, respondent appeared before Patontac County District Court Judge C. Stephen Kessinger for hearing on the citation for direct contempt of court. Judge Kessinger found that respondent's actions on February 5th, 2026 were inappropriate, unprofessional, disrespectful, and unbecoming of a member of the Oklahoma Bar Association. Furthermore, Judge Kessinger stated, your actions that day are the very definition of contempt of court. The court found respondent's actions consisted of disorderly and insolent behavior of such a nature to cause a disturbance and interrupt the proceedings on February 5th, 2026, as required by Title 21, Section 565 of the Oklahoma statutes. The court upheld the citation for direct contempt of court and sentenced respondent to 10 days in the Patontac County Justice Center. One of the other attorneys present in the courtroom that day had also written to the Bar Association to report what he'd seen, and Hopkins was given 20 days to respond. Now, according to the complainant, he did not. Count two, references a preliminary hearing in Oklahoma County in January of this year. Hopkins was representing the defendant in the case. According to the filing, the end of the workday was approaching as respondent was conducting cross-examination of the state's medical witness. The court instructed respondent to ask relevant questions as the intent was to finish the examination of the medical witness. Respondent became argumentative with the court, began talking over the court, and interrupted the court. Respondent continued to disrupt the proceedings even after being repeatedly cautioned to stop interrupting. Respondent was fined $100 for his failure to follow the court's repeated directives. And as it turns out, this is not the first time that Hopkins has been held in contempt of court. The court paperwork, which refers to count 3, which relates to a 2023 case in Stevens County, Oklahoma, Hopkins was representing a juvenile in that case. Now, according to the complainant, Hopkins was told repeatedly to stop interrupting the proceedings and even warned that he would be held in contempt of court if he kept it up. He did it again, and he was hauled away. The filing states after approximately 90 minutes in custody, respondent was brought back to the courtroom and given the opportunity to purge herself of the contempt citation. Respondent did so by apologizing for his conduct to both the court and counsel. Count 4 is in reference to an incident in March of 2025, when Hopkins was either double or triple booked at the courthouse, when a judge in one courtroom tried to call him into chambers with his client to discuss his expected ruling, Hopkins was allegedly in another courtroom. Quoting from the document, quote, respondent did not return to the courtroom, but did wait for Judge Dishman in his chambers. When Judge Dishman explained how and why he was ruling on the petition, respondent became agitated and started demanding a court reporter. He grew irate, raised his voice, and demanded a hearing. He repeatedly interrupted, talked over Judge Dishman, and raised his voice. Respondent was instructed to leave, but refused to do so. Respondent finally left the judge's chambers only after being told that deputies would be called to escort him from the premises. Now, count 5 involves Hopkins allegedly making a case overly complicated and inexplicably delaying it several times, while also refusing to communicate with the court and opposing counsel. Years later, in 2025, the Court of Civil Appeals for Oklahoma affirmed a lower court's decision that Hopkins would have to cover attorney's fees for opposing counsel in that case. Count 6 is connected to a 2024 case where Hopkins had once again allegedly set a hearing with one judge, but then was found to be in a different courtroom on a different case at the same time. In count 7, Hopkins is accused of loudly yelling and interrupting the court several times during a January 2026 hearing. And count 8 accuses him of pretty much avoiding any legal work altogether in a guardianship matter in 2025. That filing says complainant therefore seeks an order of emergency interim suspension of respondent due to the immediate threat of substantial and irreparable public harm posed by his continued practice of law. According to the Bar Association, back in December, Hopkins was given the opportunity to enter into a discipline diversion program. He was required to attend certain professionalism classes and schedule monthly meetings with the bar's ethics council. He also wasn't allowed to have any more grievances filed against him, but obviously he did, so he breached the terms of the diversion program. So far, no update on whether Hopkins will in fact lose his license to practice law in Oklahoma, but it seems likely given the totality of allegations laid out against him. Either way, his courtroom outburst, certainly not his finest moment, will live on forever in viral video history. That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law&Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, and we're also now streaming on Peacock. I'm Chris Stewart. We'll see you next time.